On the 25th of May 1939, news of the loss of 2 German divisions in the jungles in northern Siam have reached the homeland. People are unhappy with the army leadership and the political leadership about this unexpected and unexplained loss of such a significant force. Still, investigations are ongoing, but given the dense jungle, lack of supplies, malaria and other sicknesses affecting the troops, it is entirely likely that they have fallen victim to a combination of enemy attacks, guerrilla forces, illness, and the environment in general. As a result, we have decided to move the last remaining 2 divisions out of the Lingguang volunteers out of the region. The fighting in Siam is too costly on German lives. And we might need the troops in the north against Fengtian because we are seeing the arrival of a Japanese field army, which means that combat might grind to a halt in this area. And it's good that we've got the vital supply positions under our control, and we're using the offensive operations as part of Unternehmen Donauübung and Unternehmen Wiesengrund with the cavalry divisions to try to isolate and destroy the last remaining Fengtian divisions in the western cauldron here, and that should allow us to destroy a fair amount of them, and then swing north towards Harbin and the northern cities, while ignoring the mountain ranges there. Meanwhile, in the Mediterranean, or rather in the Middle East, we have retaken Baghdad, and Iran has been entirely wrong-footed by the arrival of the Jabal Shammar expeditionary forces under Kesselring, which are rapidly pushing towards Basra and cutting off Iranian divisions in the south around Kuwait, which they will then subsequently move to destroy. Meanwhile, in the north, we are holding Baghdad. We are about to retake the airport, which will allow us to get heavy bombers on site. And I think the war of the Ottoman Empire is not yet won, but it has certainly been, the direction certainly has been turned. At the home front, the War Preparedness Act is ready to be filed, and this will. The world appears to be heading towards a second Weltkrieg indeed. Before the time window closes, we must hastily begin preparations, remilitarization and expansion of our military industry, while the Reichstag passes an act which orders our civilian industry to move to war footing. This leaves us more prepared and gives us 150 political power. So we will pass that act. And with 150 political power, we can now instantly do one thing that I've been wanting to do for a while. We are going to filling up our political advisors by adding Max Planck, which for another 10% research speed from the Kaiser Wilhelm Society. And then with the next 112 political power, we'll move to extensive conscription to make sure that the German Empire has sufficient manpower at hand to fight the wars it needs to fight. Our operatives are still busy in Russia, and we might get more operatives at some point. We should have some more decent insights into France at this stage. So let's get a bit of an idea. Yeah, the intel is not yet great. We don't know an awful lot about it, but they've got it somewhere close to 1 million men under arms. Given that we have, that's about the same as we have, but they are not spread around the world. There are also potentially decisions to assume control of the navies, but the subsequent the prerequisite is that these countries actually capitulate, which obviously hasn't happened. So we are going to again split our focus here between Ottomans and the Chinese front, where we have to maintain our momentum. I think we do need to leave one division behind, however, here, and see if we can manage to cut them off in the north. This is going to be a bit of a stretch. How is the supply situation? Not great. Next supply hub. We have taken a supply hub actually, but we haven't actually aligned it. So we'll see if we can manage to break that. We'll pin the divisions in place, the Japanese divisions that are rushing back in place, while the rest of the other two divisions are going to push north, and we're going to use the cavalry divisions to ensure that the Japanese troops in the mountains remain where they are as well. Meanwhile, Armenia has joined the Tabriz Accords. Is that something I need to worry about? I mean, Armenia is at war. Tabriz Accord. Who else is member of the Tabriz Accord? It's okay. So they have joined with Iran, but not with the Kurds. That's not going to help them, because the Iranians have been significantly wrong-footed here. These divisions moving to Basra. Let's pin the other two divisions in the north and move northwards to cut the railway lines already before the Iranians are arriving. They have managed to reinforce the airport just in time, but with some assistance, we should be able to break that position. Regardless, having air is going to be super. It's going to be super important. So let's ensure that we are getting through here, and that we are taking Basra. Then we'll stop this assault and consolidate the gains southwards. And with that, Basra has fallen. Stop the attack and concentrate on the defense. And then we will focus on the southern lines, which means that we'll redirect the front lines towards the south and back to China, where we are working to pin the Japanese divisions in place, but it is our troops are exhausted. So that was about as much as we could do. Japanese counterattack happening, but need to shorten the front lines. Definitely need to shorten the front lines on both lines here. Okay, hang on. I am going to do that in a second. First, we need to shorten the front lines here northwards and make sure that the other army as well. Make sure that that is concentrated where it needs to be. Okay, spearhead constructed. We've got one more step to go. So if we can manage to take the mountain province in the north here, and the Japanese know that, if we can manage that, then we have encircled the whole. We have encircled that whole salient here in the south. Meanwhile, in Germany, the skull of Chief Mkawa. During a royal tour of Germany, the young chief Adam Sapi of the Wahihi people lodged an awkward request. During our subjugation of East Africa, their tribal leader, Chief Mkawinkia, okay, I'm not going to even try, conducted a campaign of military resistance against our rule for 8 long years. After his death, his head was cut off and sent by Commander Tom von Prinz to the Bremen Anthropological Museum. As part of his tour, Chief Sapi requested to visit the museum and see the skull. He asks that it be returned with him to Iringa. The Wahihi have superstitions about the disposal of remains and wish to give his skull an honorable burial. Where on earth would that be? Somewhere in Africa. Honestly, I could do without uprisings in Africa. They can have that back. If we need more skulls, we will definitely find them. No hard feelings here, and we're all on friendly terms. All right. The troops, the 4th Königlich Sächsische Infanteriedivision has cut the railway lines towards Basra, which if they can hold the Iranian counterattack, will actually lead to a secondary encirclement of Iranian troops between the Baghdad line and the main line. So that is everyone there dig in for now. The more important battle right now is going on in China, where we do need to leave 1 division behind, and 2 divisions are pushing north into the mountains, and hopefully we can manage to get there before the Japanese can counterattack. We do need to connect the railway lines here at some point. This is a very stretched front, so we'll have to make sure that the Chinese are not falling anywhere along the lines. But if we can manage, we've defended. If we can manage to take the mountains in the north, and I will use. Okay, I only need 1 division. Honestly, they have reinforced. Unfortunate. So immediately assist with that. I am not necessarily. I've got some divisions ready here that we can use for pinning counterattacks, and we can use an infantry division to pin attack here. Okay, so to great losses, the German forces around are keeping the enemy forces down, and Fengtian has sent some defenders into the mountain region, but they are scattered, which means that we should be able to connect and then destroy the salient here. Call to total war has completed, which means that improves the recruitable population factor by 15%, and we are still going to be increasing the conscription levels, but now we are going for unrestrained warfare. And that will expend 10% of the grip. I think grip is at 70% right now, but that will remove the last debuff on that side. So let's get that done. And right now, where are we? Defrond, future of the army. Yes, we're at 60% now. We could promote, we can promote Joachim von Stülpnagel, which makes him available for military high command for 25 command power, and that immediately gets us back up to 80%. The other ones are going to be more in terms of political power, but let's focus on the attack here and see that this works. Okay, we have pushed back the Fengtian defenders, and while the troops are getting increasingly exhausted, we are moving into the mountains, and hopefully that'll be enough. That will be enough to delay them sufficiently that we can cut them off in before they can get here. Okay, let's send another division in to continue the attacks on the Japanese army here in the west. Meanwhile, in the Ottoman Empire, we have retaken the airport, so we can send the first Kampfgeschwader over, and we are going to send the second Jagdgeschwader for escort missions as well. So both of them will give us green air over Mesopotamia, where there is actually no enemy activity in the air. We have encircled a fair amount of Iranian divisions at this point. So we will begin, and for some reason we appear to have left Basra open. So let's give 1 division. Oh, because this is that's a different territory. Okay. Instantly attack towards Kuwait. Attack towards Kuwait and then clear out the Iranians here, because we are not actually allowed to enter Basra because it's now Turkish territory, which means we will in the north work on destroying these encircled Iranian divisions, and then I think we have a pretty good line here. Okay, it looks like they're all being pushed back to Kuwait anyway. Yeah, no, keep assaulting Kuwait, please. That is one last remaining Iranian division. We are going to give some fire support here, and Turkish divisions are already We'll just have to destroy it before they retake Basra. But that means we are. That means we have. Yeah, it means we have cleared up the. We have cleared up the south relatively well, and we can shift potentially. We can shift potentially. Where are we going to go from here? Let's see. Strategically, we could try to take. We might try to. There's no supply in the north. We might try to deal with the northern provinces next, honestly, and see if we can get Armenia destroyed, reconnect to Azerbaijan, and then push down south towards Tabriz, and deal with, or potentially just walk in. Because there's nobody left here, honestly. So let's see if we can just make a breakout from Mosul. And let's see if we can just get across the river here without anybody resisting us, and maybe in the southern range, and move towards Tabriz. The Italian Federation has joined the Donau-Adria-Bund. That is going to be interesting. So the Donau-Adria-Bund now contains Italy and the United States of Austria. So, okay, so the two Sicilies have joined the Italian Federation in the north. So front lines are definitely being drawn here, and the Entente might get some interesting. There might be some interesting things happening on the Entente side relatively soon. Okay, back to China. Where we have successfully encircled the whole southern Fengtian, the whole southwestern Fengtian Army here. However, the next operation is going to have to be to reconnect the supply. Is going to have to be to connect the supply lines here. So I'm going to have to get everybody thrown in here to connect the supply lines, to establish our to establish the, and everybody else stays in place, but to establish the to establish the encirclement. So these Japanese troops here need to be pushed off the railway. We don't need to push in any further at this stage. We can just hold here. We're definitely going to clear out the front lines here now, so let's do that first, because this is now an unholy mess due to the encirclement. So let's clear out the front lines for now. The cavalry divisions can stay here and eventually assist with pushing the encircled divisions. And then we've got the assault divisions of the Qing Expeditionary Force. They will line up here. And we've got the regular infantry divisions of the LSP force, and they can hold the northern flank here. Okay. And then we will, as the next target, move towards Harbin. And these guys we just need to clear out the encirclement first. All right, back to the Ottomans for now, where I think the Iranian lines are getting a little fuzzy. And yes, we have destroyed the position there. The last holdout in Kuwait is about to be destroyed as well, and that lets us push back. And we have by holding the airport, we now have enough air support to re-establish probably the river line for now. We only need to send one division into Kuwait. The other two can already begin pushing back north against Basra. And which one are we sending to Kuwait? Yeah, and we can support that from the north. And we can support that from here as well. So that one division gets pushed out of Basra. Kuwait is retaken, which means we can't actually enter Kuwait, potentially. So let's just send everybody north. and then we'll push them back across the river line, re-establish the old borders, and then swing north here to dealing with the Armenian incursion, which Turkey seems to be struggling with. Meanwhile, in China, let's make sure that nobody breaks out. Come on, there we go. Okay, everyone's holding the lines for now, and we do need, however, to keep pushing the divisions out from here. So, despite the fact that we're counterattacked, whoever's got supply, push to the lines here, please, and connect the supply up in the north before we run any cleanup operations. In Germany, the opposition once again criticizes the army, and we've had that in the past. That cost us some war support, unfortunately, which we are running reasonably low on, mainly due to combat casualties. So that might be something we'll have to deal with in the not too far future. But in all, the world has become somewhat of a more peaceful place, honestly. Okay, we'll just hold here in the north. We'll hold here in the north, and we can already launch an attack here. Push them out. Pushing them out here, and the other divisions are moving north. So, yep, we have retaken the territory, which means these divisions again probably can't enter. Can we? No, we can still. This is less than ideal, actually, but we've got additional divisions to make this happen. So. We've got enough force to firepower to force the river crossing here, and then we'll be reasonably stable. And then we'll move north towards Kurdistan. Meanwhile, in China, there we are. In China, we are making progress in pushing back the Japanese defenders off the railway, which would connect the supply lines and allow us to get everybody ready to destroy. What is that? That's a 10, 18, 20, 20. That's a field army. That's a Fengtian field army that we've encircled here. So let's get the supply lines connected, and then are we still in the Fengtian air zone? We are, and then we are going to start attacking here. In fact, we've got the two remaining divisions of the Guangzhou expedition under Friedrich Paulus that can join the fray here in the south and already start shortening the lines a bit while they are at it. And meanwhile here, support the attack. There's only one Fengtian division left. The Chinese are holding the lines, and once we have secured the railway, then the assault can continue. We have free civilian factories, which means, how's our production line looking? We are getting through the refits at this point. That means, I think that means the, where are the cruisers? I thought oh, they've probably been automatically assigned. Let's have a quick look. They should have been, okay, yeah, we've got Rhein and Donau. So they do need to start training to make sure that that everybody is in good shape. Just checking, yeah, and that submarine division needs to train as well. Everybody else, yeah, let's get the whole submarine fleet to exercise to just make sure that let's get all the new ships, all the new ships trained up. This group shouldn't have anybody new, and this group neither. And we've got that's a single submarine that can join here. All right, all organized. We are working our way through the refits, which is good. And we are going to be constructing. What else do we need? Well, we have, yeah, I could probably build a few more civilian factories. Let's build like 4 more here, and then we are going to continue constructing military factories. There we go. That keeps everybody busy. And we are making significant progress here in pushing out the Iranians back across the river, and then we can relocate north rather than trying to take Iran completely. Taking Iran is a very unfortunate undertaking because anything east of Tehran is very difficult to work with. So maybe it's enough if we move towards Tehran, but I think I'll clean up in the north here first, and then we'll try to isolate Armenia and Kurdistan by taking Tabriz. Linking up with Azerbaijan, and then clearing out the area. And then after that, we might swoop to Tehran, and then we'll take on Alexandria and Cairo. Second Melbourne uprising. What happens in Australia? Massive unrest in the Australasian Confederation has culminated in the second Melbourne uprising by syndicalists. Oh yeah, remember there were the somewhat more right-wing militias had won the election. So of course, the syndicalists would not respect democratic elections and immediately start agitations and violence of their own, mirroring the first such uprising that occurred in 1924 and which was crushed by both the government and paramilitary forces. The unpopular Australasian Guard-led government ordered Australasian soldiers to open fire on the protesters, leading to a bloodbath which has left hundreds dead and chaos reigning in the southern city for weeks. While the Guard appears to have the situation under control now and has tried to block any information getting out from Melbourne, the unprecedented violence has led to condemnation for the Australian Confederation from around the world. Alarming indeed, we might see a syndicalist uprising in the Australasian Confederation, and this is the problem that the Entente is having, because just like us, if you are trying to unify and militarize, you inevitably get in contact with some more right-wing elements, which is not always what you want, but which is what you have to deal with oftentimes. All right, almost done with the operations here. So once that's completed, I will leave the Turkish two holding the lines here, and then we will swoop north and focus on the front near Tabriz and see if we can just break through Iranian lines. How is the supply situation? From Mosul, it shouldn't be too bad if we can take Tabriz. And there are a couple of railways, but nothing major that would make sense. We could try and take the port here near Avaz, but that would lead to a road to Tehran that we can take as well from the south. But I am somewhat concerned about the successes they're having in the north here, and I don't want to have them start threatening Ankara or anything like that. So let's deal with the north first and foremost. Meanwhile, in China, okay, we have connected the railway lines, which means in a few days the supply hub in Liaobei should come online. At which point we can start cleanup operations in earnest, and then restart the offensives north. But first we need to destroy this encircled group of divisions here. There's a fair few Japanese troops that have been caught in the net as well, and they're obviously completely out of supply. So. They are even counterattacking, which is great, because that means we can use the cavalry to begin pushing into the hills here, and we will see if we can manage to get them out from there. We are working our way through some naval upgrades, and I think that is good and proper. But we might need to start researching the 1940 medium tank as well. And we've got a couple tank upgrades that need to happen. We are a little behind on artillery at this point. We do get an improved bonus from the from research from others, and this is still very much ahead of time. We're not short on material just yet, so I don't need to work on the excavation text at this point. So maybe How's the air looking? That actually might be... Yeah, we've got some air research to do. Let's begin by improving small airframes and see if we can get the successor to the Focke-Wulfs going, and potentially with improved range also some close air support, and we are going to use Focke-Wulf for that. So let's make that happen. We have the Wilhelmshaven-Werft, which again is being used for I think... Oh no, wait, Wilhelmshaven-Werft was used for capital ships. Yes, Wilhelmshaven-Werft needs upgrading. What do we have available? We have... Oh, sorry, this is Dornier. Wait, how many do we have here? Okay, Wilhelmshaven-Werft first. We've got the super heavy shells. We've got improved armor. Torpedo critical chance reduced, or we can go down the secondary improvements, which leads us eventually to additional hit points, anti-air light batteries, that's for secondaries, and this is torpedo chance, and then this would lead to another 5% armor. This seems to be the more achievable quickly, because that's just 2 steps away. So we'll go through here, and then we've got Dornier, which we are using, I think, for the Heinkels, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Dornier. That's for the Heinkels. So we're focusing on the bombers, which is why we have used this path here. Medium planes, air defense, naval attack, air defense. Then this leads to air defense and speed. Yeah, let's go here. We can upgrade the Heinkels. I think the Heinkels are using Dornier, so we can go and use the upgraded design. And we still have a lot of Heinkels, so I'm just going to start refitting into the Heinkel 111s for these airframes. And we're still short 20 odd military factories, but at least we are now slowly... Actually, we're still short a couple here for the Flammpanzer as well. So a fair amount of military factories that need to be constructed. We're on it, and we're getting some more dockyards as well to help with the refits. All right, China situation. We are... Oh, they have concentrated a fair amount of divisions here. But we should be able to shrink that position. Is there a river line here in the north? I'm not sure. How long is it going to take until supply gets connected? One more day, and then we should be seeing supply coming in, and then we can begin the just attack here from the south as well. Then we can begin the... okay, never mind. That's going to take another 5 days for the next section. All right, so it's still going to take a little bit of time until supply comes in. So we'll leave them to it for now. On the Ottoman lines, we have reestablished the front lines that we wanted. So we can now get the Jabal Shammar forces concentrated in the north and move towards Tabriz. And I think that's what we're going to be doing. So let's get them concentrated here. And your task is to basically bypass Tabriz and cut off everything towards Azerbaijan. The other troops can begin with the cleanup operations here in the north, and see the Kurds in the mountains are going to be trouble. So we're probably going to isolate them first. So let's bring 5 divisions up and clear out the Iranian-held territory in the north. We are almost at the point where we can improve our conscription laws. The German East Asia is still failing miserably to retake Indochina. Nothing is new, and the lines in the north near Siam haven't changed at all. So Yeah, that jungle is cursed and we shall not be having to do anything with it. Meanwhile, we've got some divisions here that can already make themselves useful, and we can use some marine divisions, and yeah, they have supply, so we'll begin the assault here in the north as well. Can support that from here, and the divisions further north are still waiting for supply, so they can take their time. The 3 Fengtian divisions here are still holding out, but they won't be for much longer. Once we have everybody encircled, then that should be rapidly the end of things. I'm not sure where we are lacking in supply, in logistics. I think it's just probably an outcome of the almost connected of that. The Selbstladegewehr Modell 40 is complete. So that's great news, which means we can immediately change, but we probably want to assign a. Mauser is already assigned. So the Selbstladegewehr 40, the self-loading rifle 1940, is complete, which means we can change the production. We have a decent stockpile, so the Mauser rifle production can just outright change. And yeah, we are going to use a Mauser for that. And that did, of course, not happen, did it? Yeah, of course. This bug has never been fixed. So I just need to close it, open it again, and then do it. Selbstladegewehr 40, there we go, with Mauser assigned. And we have a lot of equipment that can be converted, but yeah, let's clear out. We have a lot of captured equipments because especially that's been sent home from China, because one of our generals has the respective trait, and I think we can also start converting some of the old stockpile here and get that done, which means it's probably not a terrible idea to get the improved equipment conversion, which is just going to speed that up. So let's get that done as well. And we have enough political power. But we don't have the war support, unfortunately. Okay, that's a bit of a bummer. In that case, yeah, we're way behind on war support. In that case, we're going to get Wetzel as a military theorist. And the population at home does not support yet the increase in conscription. It's fine, we've got almost 1 million men in reserve to train. So Wetzel as a military theorist to reduce the cost for land doctrines, and we can start using some army XP now to unlock things. This is improving our command power gain, which is probably also not bad. Yeah, we're going down the Grand Battle Plan doctrine for now. I know that superior firepower is considered meta, but I don't care. I like this one, especially if we have to fight defensively early on. The +10 entrenchment is a massive boost. So we'll see about it. We are going to start unlocking doctrinal positions here in the Ottoman Empire. Yeah, troops are moving north. Please, can everybody please railroad north if possible? And the same with the other troops. Please railroad to your positions. All right, back to China. All right, where we are slowly but surely clearing out enemy positions here, and almost have the supply connected. Yeah, that encircles these 3 divisions, and they actually get the encirclement penalty for a change, which means we are probably going to be destroying these relatively easily, and that's not much left here. So the losses here are going to be catastrophic. That's 14, 16, 19, 22 divisions. Middle Europa Commission Summit, a choice of agenda, and the proposal forward by the chairman has found no competition. It will be implemented. Enact support for industrial projects. Probably not what I would have chosen, but I think I might have forgotten to actually put my support against something. One civilian factory is not great, but we'll take it. And we can That is construction speed and output. Consumer goods factories would be great, I think. Yeah, consumer goods factories has my vote for the next round. And still we haven't connected the railway lines here, still a day away. But we are making progress here in regardless, pushing and destroying the last remaining Fengtian forces that have been cut off and destroyed. So despite the fact that a new Japanese field army has arrived, they are very much going to have to compensate it for some massive losses. Panama requests investments. How have we? What's our stance towards Panama? Panama is not in a faction, but we're somewhat friendly towards them. They have come to us requesting investments. Will profit from gains, which gives me 30 political power. 20% consumer goods factories. Ooh, it might pay off in the long run. So I think I'll take the political power, and we will be investing in Panama. So that's a fair amount, but I think we can spare it. And there we go. We have supply, which means we can immediately launch an assault from the north and destroy the last remaining troops here. Okay, that should be everybody. And these divisions can assist here as well. Meanwhile, in Germany, the Damocles Project. German spies have recently uncovered the papers of a research and development program sponsored by the members of the Third International. Dubbed the Damocles Project, Damocles being from the Greek mythology, it is an extensive multi-nation study into the destructive power of nuclear fission, with the intent of creating bombs with a destructiveness vastly greater than anything now known. The famous German physicist Albert Einstein, von Einstein please, has previously warned that a successful nuclear bomb might even be able to turn entire cities into ash. German intelligence agencies have shared the information about this project to their closest allies, so naturally the whole world now knows. Some have dismissed the project as a childish fantasy, but many experts fear a breakthrough, if they should succeed indeed. So the International, despite being fanatic syndicalist anarchists, are now doubling in nuclear in the development of a nuclear weapon. So can we tolerate this? No. I think this effectively means a more significant threat of syndicalism than ever before, especially if the Americans join this effort, and they might eventually start throwing nuclear bombs on cities, which is something that is so unspeakably vicious that nobody wants to think about it, but it is within the realm of possibility if they feel that they need to end the war like that. So I think we are getting to the point where we actually have to go to war sooner rather than later to ensure that this never happens. And for that, we might need to send our spies all over the region to try and find out where they're doing this, and do our best to stop any efforts in that matter. All right, what do we got on the research palette right now? We're going to do one more naval research, I think. We've got a couple here that need doing. We can do the magnetic detonators. What else we got here? This is okay. These are all very important. So, not going to spend naval experience on it. We're just going to research it the regular way, and we are again using the Wilhelmshaven-Werft for that. And with that, we have research on the go. We have got 50 political power, which we could use to complete the Mittelland Canal, which is giving me building slots and infrastructure, which I don't need right now, so I'm good with that. Because this keeps coming up. We could invest in Poland, but it does cost me political power for 160 days. I am not in absolutely urgent need of political power at this point. So I think what I'm going, I might spend 5 influence points because we have high economic influence at this point, and take the hit on the political power. So let's run another Polish pro-monarchist campaign, but I wasn't doing it previously just due to the impact on political power. All right, let's, in fact, okay, divisions are moving into place here. And we do not actually have sufficient supply out of Mosul, surprisingly. We should have. I am somewhat surprised. We're right next to Mosul. We should have supply here. Let's see if that normalizes itself. But once they're ready and planned, we'll move towards Tabriz and the east coast. So let's complete the strategic destruction of the Chinese forces here. Okay, that was the first battle. That should be here. Yeah, 22,000 Fengtian troops have surrendered or have been killed on the spot, which means we are now moving ever closer to the complete strategic destruction of the Fengtian forces here. They have nowhere to go. They're retreating into the mountains, and what do we need to do? Equipment shipments to East Asia. Reichskolonialamt has requested more guns to the operations in East Asia to reduce the shortage and ensure all divisions are at full specifications. Yes. Okay. We'll send 2,500 infantry equipment. Yes, we shall be sending that. We have that in the stockpile, no problem. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference for German East Asia. They have not shown to be particularly competent, but we shall see. Right, let's finish off operations here. We are okay. We are pushing them. We've pushed them up into the north. We will continue the assault into the northern mountain regions, while they are not organized, and we're pinning all the other troops in the foothills. So let's include the 2 divisions here, and we'll probably assist from the north here as well. So operations in the mountains are running, and these divisions have nowhere to go. That is going to be the largest capitulation, I believe, to date in the Chinese war. Republic of South Africa and Canada have made peace, which is good. Can do with less wars. The world tension is still relatively high, but it's been worse. And South Africa. So South Africa has, as long as they're not syndicalist, they're not. It's the Republic of South Africa. So that particular war is over. I'm mildly worried about India at this point, because they don't seem to be making an awful lot of progress here. But well, we'll leave them to it for now. I am more interested to see the strategic destruction of the Chinese forces. The Chinese forces in Fengtian. So let's get that bloodbath over with. They are bombed into submission. The last troops are moving into the mountains. They have nowhere else left to go, and there they go. They get destroyed. They get overrun. They are trying to break out and counterattack, but it's futile. So we'll focus all our assaults on the last remaining divisions here. And that last battle against these encircled divisions under constant air attack means that they might have reinforcements, but they're unorganized, they're hungry, they're out of ammunition. They have fortifiable positions, but they've had no time to dig into cave networks, unlike the Italians have. And that means they are going to be utterly and completely destroyed. And it is just a matter of time Whoever surrenders will be moved to a prison camp and work on the repair of the damage inflicted. And we've got some more troops here that we can send in. Yeah, we'll be working on repairing the damage inflicted, and everybody else who does not surrender, well, they will be shot. So 9 more divisions holding out until the last, but very, very quickly they give up. They have nowhere to retreat to, and they can try to do some rebellions afterwards, try to blend into the population, but the main fighting force is destroyed and will be completely obliterated. And there we have it. The last of the resistance is falling. There's a final stand of the enemy general, and that was it. That was the strategic destruction of the Fengtian salient, and that means most of the troops holding the lines here are probably now going to be Japanese. Let's see if we can actually get an idea what happened. Yes, 138,000 troops have either surrendered or been destroyed on the spot. The losses in terms of equipment are significant. I can't even see the enemy equipment losses, but we'll see if we have captured a relatively significant amount of stuff. If we just look at our inventory, not hugely. I think we might not have been involved with the respective general who had that capability, but we've got some equipment that has been captured. But this has been a massive victory for the Qing government. We have effectively destroyed the Fengtian Army, and now it'll be down to cleanup operations. We'll launch assaults towards Harbin, and I doubt that the Japanese expeditionary forces are going to be able to hold this. So once Fengtian is taken over, then the war is certainly going in our favor. And we'll look at Focke-Wulf next episode. That's it for me today. Thanks, everybody. And I will see you next time, where we shall continue the attack on Iran and the assault on Tabriz, the Unternehmen Fuchsjagd, Operation Foxhunt, while in the meantime we will be fighting in the north as well to clear out the Armenian rebels as well as the Kurdish rebels here, and to make an end to the northern flank. Then we'll move on Tehran once hopefully Iran capitulates, and then we can move into Egypt and try to finish this off before we have to move on to a bigger war, because the threat of nuclear obliteration from the international is not to be underestimated.